Hello, and thank you for joining us for this encore presentation of one of Viking's most special itineraries. Our friends at Cruise Travel Outlet look forward to building the trip of your dreams. And at Viking, we look forward to welcoming you on board. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining Traveling Virtually with Viking. We greatly appreciate the support of our travel advisors and their clients for taking the time to be with us today. Before we get started, I would like to kindly remind you that our virtual chat and Q&A is open, so please feel free to ask questions during the presentation. Additionally, if you need further information after this presentation concludes, please be sure to contact your favorite travel advisor. And today, I'd like to welcome Kim Lucy, Director of National Accounts for Viking Cruises in Canada. As a 30-year-plus veteran of the cruise industry and passionate traveler, she has explored the world extensively by river and ocean. So let's welcome Kim as we discover tulips and windmills.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. This is a destination that I really enjoy, and I hope you'll enjoy traveling virtually with us. First of all, I want to thank you all for joining us, and especially the guests who are joining us on the invitation of our wonderful travel advisors out there. If you do need any information about the destinations that I'm talking about, please talk to them. They'll be able to help you with availability, with dates, and also about to give you some insight into some of the tours that I'm going to be talking about as well. So this morning, I'm going to turn off my camera so that you can see the big screen. I'll come back at the end, and I'll be happy to, Michael and I will be happy to answer your questions. So please feel free to type those into the box, and we'll be happy to answer them at the end. So thank you for joining us this morning, and let's discover tulips and windmills in the beautiful country of Holland and Belgium this morning. So I'm just going to do a quick overview on Viking. I know many of you have joined us frequently over the past few weeks, and I want to thank you for that. So I don't want to go into detail and repeat a lot of the things that we've already talked about, but I do want to just remind you that Viking does travel around the world with 4 fantastic products: river, ocean, expedition, and our new Mississippi ships that are going to be sailing through North America. But I always like to start with a map, because I realized when I was coming from the contemporary ocean cruise companies that I worked for many years, I had only cruised around the outside of these countries. And I didn't even realize that there was such a wide river system that ran from the North Sea down to the Black Sea. So I always like to show this map because it does give you an idea where we do travel on the rivers. Through the heart of Europe, we're going to be concentrating, you can see my cursor up here in the area around Belgium and Holland. We also do travel to Vietnam and Cambodia, to Egypt, as some of the other places that we visit as well. But today we're going to focus on what makes Viking a little bit different and really give you that sense of exploration in Holland today. So we do create experiences that are destination focused. We want to take you, we want to immerse you in the destination to truly touch, taste, and feel and experience that destination fully. And we spend some time putting those tours together to ensure that we do that. Now, we are going to introduce you to some of the local food when you're traveling, so you'll get a chance to try the Dutch pancakes and the waffles and some of the other things that you'll experience, the carbonade. There's a lot of different local dishes that are indigenous to the area, so you'll find those on our menus, as well as always available steak, Caesar salad, chicken, and salmon. What I really love about the river cruise experience, though, is the fact that we dig deep into the experience. We do include a short excursion in each port of call, but on top of that, we know that our guests love to learn, and they love to have that knowledge when they go into a destination so they don't miss things. So we have informative lectures, we do wine tasting, we do port talks, and we also bring local entertainers and musicians on board to give you that cultural experience right in the comfort of your ship. We do a lot of work in curating optional tours, so if you want to dig a little bit deeper, I'm going to tell you about some of those as we go. And then our staff is from the area, so you can always ask them for their favorite places to visit. Now, our Viking Way of exploration does focus on 3 key areas. So when you're talking to your travel advisor, about our tours, you can see very clearly that they're designated as local life, working world, and privileged access. And what that means is if you're like me, you love to peek in people's houses and go to the markets and kind of learn about the country through the food and the local experiences, local life is for you. We have host families, and I'm going to share some of those with you. Working World gives you an insight into the economy and what makes it tick. So there are going to be opportunities for you to go to a local tulip farm, for example. And privileged access takes you behind the scenes, which is kind of like, peeling back the curtain and be able to peek inside. And Viking set up a number of those types of privileged access experiences, similar to what we do. We do these around the world, giving you those opportunities. So quickly, just what we include, so you don't have to, that you don't have to take your wallets out when you travel with Viking. We do include a short excursion each port of call, all of your meals on board, including snacks. We have multiple dining venues, so you can dine more formally in our main dining room, or you can go and enjoy an alfresco experience in our Aquavit Terrace and Lounge and enjoy a relaxed breakfast, lunch, and casual dinner. We include beer, wine, and soft drinks with meals, specialty coffees and teas, bottled water, Wi-Fi, in-room entertainment, so you can stay connected with the news. And also, you don't have to look for fine print in any of our programs because these are all included in the price. So there's not a lot of extra with us. We have gratuities, which are discretionary. We have optional tours if you want to dig a little bit deeper. And then we have, we don't include soft drinks and alcohol between meals because we know many of you are off the ship all day and we don't want to charge you for things that you don't use. So we do have a beverage package, but we also have a no corkage policy. So we encourage you to try local. If you want to try some of the local beer or wine or spirits, by all means, feel free to bring those on board and take them wherever you would like. Our ships, as you can see, are long and narrow. They have 3 decks. We have our Aquavit Terrace at the bow and our beautiful deck for viewing on the top. You can see that they're all designed with incredible Scandinavian decor, lots of bright windows, natural fabrics and colors. It's a very peaceful experience, and the rooms continue that theme throughout. We have standard staterooms. We have French balconies with a sliding glass door. We have full step-out verandas. These are our 2-room suites that you can see on the top, and our verandas at the bottom photo. And we also have our Explorer suite. So depending on your budget or what you prefer, those are all available to you, and you can just talk with your travel advisor and they will help you choose the best option for you. But let's get into the destination, because this is what we're all here for today. And this is an amazing destination. Normally, this is one that we explore in the springtime because that's when the flowers are at their best. And I love this time of year. It's just, Holland becomes alive with these incredible tulips and hyacinths and daffodils. And you can see, this is such a beautiful picture because you can see the trees are just starting to bloom, and you've got these lovely canal streets. So we also do run tours through Holland and Belgium throughout the year, which will take you a little, take you into some of these places that usually are restricted to just the springtime. But with this, a lot of people also ask when you're traveling at this time of the year, what's the weather like? Well, the weather can really be changeable depending on whether or not you're choosing to go in the early part of March or towards the latter part of April. To capture the best flowers, it's sometimes best to sort of pick mid-April through early May because it just depends on on what kind of a winter we've had and how quickly the spring comes. But you will also always get a chance to see some of the flowers on these tours at the beautiful Keukenhof Garden. So here is the itinerary. We spend 2 days in Amsterdam. We visit some of the Dutch ports of Hoorn and Arnhem and Kinderdijk, and then we travel into Belgium to visit a couple of beautiful cities there, and then back to Amsterdam. So here's the map. You can see that we're doing a little bit of a circle of the northern part of Europe. And as you can see, this is a marshy area, and a lot of this land has been reclaimed, particularly in Holland, from the sea. And so as you're traveling along this route, you're going to learn about the dike system, about the windmill system, and also some of the precautions that they've taken to prevent the North Sea from flooding over the country as it has over the centuries. So we're going to start off in Amsterdam, and I love Amsterdam. It's a city that I've spent a great deal of time in. And I know a lot of people just often come in and they get on a ship and they sail out, whether it's by ocean or even by river. And I always encourage people to stay a little bit longer because it is a city that is well worth the exploration. I have been back many, many times, and each time I go, I've discovered something new. So here you're looking at downtown Amsterdam with the beautiful canal systems. The city was established as a fishing village in the early 13th century. And then by the 16th and 17th century, it became a thriving commercial and naval power. A lot of people don't realize that it was actually under the control of Spain for a very long time. And then once they won their independence from Spain, or became a country in itself, they became a very, very strong naval power as well. You'll find their influence all through Southeast Asia, through the Spice Islands, and also into Africa. So they went far and wide. It became one of the bases of the Dutch East and West India trading companies, and it became one of Europe's largest financial and trade centers. In the early 1800s, a canal was finally built connecting the city to the North Sea. And then in 1952, the Amsterdam Rhine Canal linked the city to the other European waterways. So that made a really big difference in how the trade developed as well. So here, I wanted to point out, because as you're traveling, if you spend some time in Amsterdam, you will walk and walk and walk and walk. Now, there are lots of bicycles and bicycle lanes, so you have to be careful when you step off the street. You have to not just look for cars, but you really have to watch for bicycles. There are more bicycles in Amsterdam than cars. There are actual multi-story parking lots just for bikes. It's remarkable when you go. So you do have to pay attention, but you can certainly rent a bike and see the city by bike. You can walk, or you can take these wonderful canal boats that will take you on a tour throughout the city. So I did, actually, when I was there and I went early, I spent some time on the step-on, step-off canal boat, which allowed me to get on and off in different places to explore some of the museums. I also wanted to point out the houses. This is a really great picture for this. You can see they're very narrow and skinny, and they go up high. The Dutch are known for their frugality. They're very frugal, and taxes were based on the footprint of the house, not the height, not how many floors there are. And if you look, there's a really good selection in this photograph of the different styles of windows. And depending, your status was shown by how high your house was and the type of window that you put in and the decoration on the outside. But I also want you to take a look at that black house. If you see that black house on the left-hand side, you can see a white kind of pole above the top window. In Amsterdam, you will find these poles on the outside of many of the houses. Think of it this way. They used to be merchant houses. So on the bottom, there was living accommodation, and on the top were all their storehouses. So in order to pull the goods up and down, these are tiny little staircases, very narrow. And so they actually have to haul everything up on that pulley system. And even today, if somebody's moving in and out of a house in the old part of Amsterdam, they have to bring their furniture up using that pulley system. So take a look when you're traveling around Amsterdam. It is kind of fun to watch for those things. Now, I wanted to show a map because the city is actually arranged in concentric circles rather than squares like most cities. So you can see the old city is kind of wrapped by that larger canal that runs around the outside. Just at the top, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but here is the train station, this sort of brown oblong building in the upper central part of the photograph. And our ship's dock pretty much right in front of it, just a little bit to the right of the photograph. And that's where our ships are. So you can see when we arrive in Amsterdam, and you can also see even with our ocean ships, they dock, you can see that little ship there. You can walk easily right into the heart of that old city, and you can see how all of the canals are linked together. So there are more than 1,280 bridges, the oldest being the Skinny Bridge, which dates back to 1648, and actually it's actually a drawbridge. And the best way to see it is actually by taking those little canal boats that I talked about. So when we do a tour, we walk through here, there's 165 canals that wind their way through the cityscape, and they span about 31 miles, and you will walk across 1,281 bridges. Good luck if you want to do that. I feel like I have done a lot of that as I've been traveling. So it's a wonderful thing to just enjoy the city on foot, and there's lots of little places, but most of the sites are concentrated right in this central canal, this central area here. You'll find the museums, you'll find Anne Frank House, you'll find the shopping, you'll find Dam Square. All of that is in easy walking distance of where a ship stops. Now, some of the things that you will maybe want to do if you're a history buff is explore some of the museums. There are more museums per square mile than any other city in the world. And actually some of the most amazing museums you can't even imagine. Over the years that I've been going in and out of Amsterdam, I've tried to see different things each time I've gone. So here I've featured a couple of the key ones. The Rijksmuseum is on the left-hand side. That beautiful old building is filled with the Grand Masters, the Rubens, all the Grand Masters. Sorry, my brain went dead on that one. But there's you can spend easily a day in there. I spent at least a morning, and it's just overwhelming with the incredible masterpieces. On the bottom right-hand side is a photograph of Van Gogh, and Van Gogh has his own museum as well. And I spent close to 3-4 hours in there. Fantastic museum. It was closed for quite a number of years and has reopened just in the past 3 to 4 years. It's very close to the Rijksmuseum. This sort of museum area is all kind of concentrated a little bit here in Amsterdam, but this is a fantastic museum if you're interested in that Impressionist period. It starts off on the lower floor with its early works, and as you go up through the museum, you see the evolution of his painting. That was fascinating. It's very rare that you get to go into a museum, an art museum, and see an evolution of a painter. And I think for me, that was really a standout. Above is the Anne Frank House. And this is a fantastic museum. If you've read her book as a child growing up through school, it's a very moving experience. If you've followed any of the World War II history and the Holocaust, you'll know of the persecution and particularly the resistance that went on here in Amsterdam. And this family was hidden by another family behind false walls. And you can see that lineup. That's the entrance to the museum. And you can go inside and right up into where the family was hidden. You can see that Anne the house has been left or reconstructed, and you can see on a bulletin board where she has written a lot of her, little notes. Absolutely amazing. So please take the time. And I also recommend that talk to your travel advisor if you're going, and get a front of the line ticket. It's well worth it because it is super busy. Now, we're going to start from, just to give you an idea, also in Amsterdam, there are a lot of other things to see in terms of museums. There's a maritime museum, a chocolate museum. There's a resistance museum that I went to that was absolutely amazing. You can do a walk through the Jewish quarter called In the Footsteps of Anne Frank. Love that as well. It was fantastic. You can explore a coffee house, which is not known for the coffee. And one of my favorite things to do also is to try the Dutch pancakes as you're going through here. So after we spend a little bit of time in Amsterdam, we're going to head along the canals and visit the beautiful city of Hoorn. So we'll sail in early. We'll cross the Ilsemeer, which is used to be called the Zuiderzee, and it is this is an ancient shipping village, and it's filled with cobblestone streets, and you'll get to see the age-old warehouses in the main square, and most of these date back to Holland's golden age, which is the 16th and 17th century. This city was founded in 1300, and it's named for the horn-shaped harbor along the Ilsemeer, which is really an artificial lake that was created by massive dams. It has two gates. The original ones are dating back to the 16th century fortifications that used to be around the city. And it's also a really important agricultural market still here. People bring their cheese, the big wheels of cheese, I don't know if you've ever seen those. They bring them in to be weighed and priced, and this is an area that is known for that. The Dutch Navy claimed victory over the Spanish here in 1578. Remember, I told you that they were under the auspices of the Spanish monarchy for a long time. So this is when it became this particular city became the headquarters of the Dutch East India Company. It's also the birthplace of Willem Schouten, who was the first man to go around the Cape Horn, and also Abel Tasman, who discovered Tasmania. So here you'll get a chance to explore by foot. I really encourage you, the guide's going to take you through, show you some of the wonderful sites to see, the Way House that dates back to the 1600s, the cheese warehouses, and you'll also get a chance to visit a local family and a local Dutch farm. So that's kind of fun. What I do encourage you to try are the stroop waffles. These are little crispy waffles that are filled with a sweet syrup, and they really the way to eat them is to put them over top of a cup of hot tea or coffee and let the syrup start to melt a little bit and then eat them. So I really encourage you to try that as well. Now, if you want to try some of the other more in-depth things, we have the modern agricultural world. So you can go out and see the largest glass greenhouse, and learn about sustainable produce. We also have an option for you to go out and visit a working farm. So here you've got a chance to go into the countryside to visit a tulip farm and witness how the windmills have changed over the years, and the process of growing the bulbs and shipping the bulbs. Remember, this is a key export for Holland, and it's one of the souvenirs that you can pick up while you're here. So if you're interested in any of these optional tours, please talk to your travel advisor. You can also visit the Dutch countryside here by e-bike and get out into just a chance to visit a local residence and pedal along the dikes, which is a national pastime in Holland. Then we go on to Arnhem. Now, Arnhem is a relaxed city. It's filled with beautiful green parks and gardens. But what it's most famous for, of course, other than the green space that people always love, is the wartime history. So we will be visiting the museum that is related to Operation Market Garden, which was an ill-fated Allied World War II operation. It was one of the first, after the liberation of France, the Allies moved their way into Belgium and Holland and were starting to push the Nazis back into Germany. And so here we will get a chance to see the crucial wartime operation, which was the basis, actually, if anybody's seen Bridge Too Far by Richard Attenborough, 1977, this came out. It is a fantastic excursion. The story is that in September 17th, 1944, the Allied paratroopers landed near Arnhem. And the plan called Operation Market Garden was to take the main bridges in Arnhem, Nijmegen, and Eindhoven, and then push the Germans back. Unfortunately, the Germans were waiting for them, and the operation failed. Cost them a lot of miles. So if you want to see it, check out the Bridge Too Far. But we will get a chance to see where the paratroopers landed. We'll get to go to the Airborne Museum as well as the cemetery there. So for the guests who are interested, this is a really amazing experience. You can also go and explore by bike if you would like, just to get a little bit of exercise. That's option 2. Now, Kinderdijk is another place that we stop on a lot of our itineraries, and this is a fantastic experience here. There are 19 heritage windmills here. A lot of them are occupied by local families who can live here for free, and 2 of them are museums, so you can go in and peek. It's a beautiful place to take photographs. You can cruise along this little canal on a canal boat. You can walk along the towpaths. And we also have some optional tours that will take you by bike, if you like, out into the countryside. And here you'll learn about the polder system and what the importance of the windmills are in preserving the land of Holland. There's also an opportunity to go and meet a local cheesemaker and learn about the cheese trade and the Gouda cheese, or the Gouda cheese that we call it here. Go on to Antwerp, and Antwerp is one of the largest ports and one of the busiest in the world. This is such a beautiful city, as you can see, with the beautiful old buildings. We will be passing through this, walking through this historical quarter. You'll get to see the cathedral, and it really, and it's a World UNESCO Heritage Site. You'll see the Hetstein Castle that was built after the Viking incursions, and is one of the first stone fortresses in the city. And you'll end up here in the town square to see the Bravo fountain statue, which is commemorating the legend of how Antwerp got its name. So here you'll get a chance to try, you can do a walking tour that takes in the flavors of Antwerp. And of course here, Belgium is known for the waffles, for the chocolate, it's known for the lace, and it's known for the incredible beer. So here you get a chance to try all of those as we're visiting the beautiful city of Antwerp. The next stop is Ghent, and Ghent was built in the Middle Ages. It's a college town, and it became one of the richest in Northern Europe. The Lys River is the gateway to Bruges. So what we do here is you can either stay in Ghent if you like, but most people go on our included tour, which is either a half day, or if you want to expand, you can do the optional tour that takes you for the full day to Bruges. And Bruges is like stepping back in time. It's one of the best preserved medieval cities in the world. And it's a World UNESCO Heritage Center. It's also a cultural and artistic center, and famous for some of the Flemish painters like Van Eyck and Memling. Here you'll get a chance to walk through the beautiful streets. You'll see the Begin and its gardens, which was the home to the Begin religious movement. It says religious complex of nuns. They're tied to the Benedictine sisters. And also get a chance to just enjoy the city. So shop for some chocolates, sit in the main square and try some of the Belgian beer, and you can't leave without trying the frites with mayonnaise. Onward to Zeeland. This is, oh, and by the way, just outside of Ghent is Flanders Fields. So for those of you that are following a World War II or World War I experience, you might want to take a look at, take the Flanders Fields optional, which takes you into Bruges, and then it takes you to one of World War I's hallowed sites, which is the site of the poem In Flanders Fields that many of us have heard. And then on to Zeeland. Zeeland is the region of Walcheren, and this is formerly an island in the southwest part of the Netherlands. So we stop in one of the small villages called Beer, and then we do a walking tour. So we do a walking tour there, and then we go on to the Delta Works, and this is what is famous for this area. For centuries, Holland was plagued with devastating floods as the North Sea surged over the country and raised the level of the rivers. The canals, the dikes, and the dams were built to stem the tides and the floods. But after the last great flood in 1953, the country undertook one of the largest hydroelectric projects in the world, the Great Delta Works. It took over 30 years to do. So you'll get a chance to go to that actual facility and learn about what it took and to explore this. And in this area, there's also a dolphin and seal residence, as well as you'll get a chance to see the massive flood barriers that are protecting Holland. So this is something that I think most people really, really enjoy. If you like, you can also go and do an optional tour to taste the flavors of Holland, including the oysters and the significance of its industry. And you might even get a chance to shuck some of your own. From there, we're back to Amsterdam and an opportunity to see the incredible Keukenhof Gardens. This was phenomenal. The year that I went, it was a late spring, so we were out in the countryside and the fields were filled with hyacinths. And if you know that scent of hyacinths, it's quite heady and beautiful. So you can imagine just fields and fields and fields of pink and white and purple hyacinths and that scent. So we were a bit early. The tulips were over, the hyacinths were out, but the daffodils were over. The tulips hadn't come out. But we went to the Keukenhof Garden, and it was ablaze with these beautiful tulips. So we will get a chance to go and to explore. There are 70 acres, and 7 million flowers are said to bloom here. Tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, lilies, bluebells, crocuses, and countless others line these incredible pathways. So you can stroll through about 100 varieties of tulips. And this was originally a 17th century hunting ground. So you can enjoy that. You can see the Keukenhof Castle, where the Countess once sorted herbs in her kitchen garden. And you'll get a chance to step back in time to see that. Tulips are very, very important in Holland. There actually was a tulip fever in the 14th century where people were, it was almost like the stock exchange. It was crazy. People were bidding on tulips, and it was like money for about 3 years. It was crazy. It's a very interesting part of the culture and one of their main exports. If you're really interested and want to get up early in Amsterdam, you can go and see the Aalsmeer flower auction, which I did as well. Almost every single flower that you see in any of the flower shops around the world come through Amsterdam. And they come and go within a 48-hour period. They're bought and sold and out the door, come in by air and go out by air. So highly recommend that, but you do have to get up super early because all of this happens usually before 9 o'clock. So it's quite remarkable. So talk to your travel agent and they can arrange for that tour if you would like. So finally, you can spend some time just exploring a bit more and pick up some souvenirs. The Dutch cheese is all beautifully packaged to bring home as a gift. You can look for your wooden shoes and by all means bring home some of the great tulip bulbs to plant as a reminder when you come back. But I just wanted to leave you with a couple things because I'm getting close to my time. Just a recipe if you want to try some of the local cuisine while you're there. You can try the Dutch hotspot. And on our website, our Viking TV under the kitchen table or on our consumer site, you will find the recipes. So if you want to know where they are, check with your travel advisor and they can help you. If not, you can download these and do a little cooking. This is kind of like almost like a split pea soup. It's made out of potatoes and carrots and parsnips. So root vegetables, really hearty, and what a wonderful thing for the winter. As you can see, it celebrates the end of the Leiden Siege and the revolt against Spain. A couple of books, if you're interested. The Girl with the Pearl Earring talks about Van Meer, Johannes Van Meer, and represents, he was one of the great enigmas of 17th century art. And his extraordinary paintings are of domestic life, and their subtle play of light and texture that came to define the Dutch Golden Age. Here is this anonymous photo or picture painting that's famous of the Girl with the Pearl Earring that you'll see in the Rijksmuseum. And this is the story behind it. So if you're interested, take a look. This is a wonderful story set in his household in the 1660s. And it also was a movie with Scarlett Johansson. It was an excellent movie, so if you're interested. Also, you can go back to your roots and read The Diary of a Young Girl, the story of Anne Frank and her remarkable diary. This is one that always makes me cry, but it's a powerful reminder of the horrors of war and an elegant testament to the human spirit. And then if you're interested in some movies, A Bridge Too Far, as I talked about, this is the story of the Battle of Arnhem and the attempt to take the bridges. And then Tulip Fever. It wasn't a highly rated movie, but I did see it, and it was fascinating from a historical point of view. This is the story of the frenzied tulip bulb market through it was the 17th century. So it gives you a sense of that crazy period and how important the tulips are. And then, of course, you can check out Dunkirk. It's another one that is about the Allied soldiers from Belgium and from France that were stranded on the beaches in France before the Battle of Britain. So here's where you go to see some of these wonderful cities that I've talked about. Holland and Belgium, this is the one that runs throughout the summer and winter, or the spring, summer, and fall. It's not related just to the tulip season. So this one goes into Hoorn, Kinderdijk, Weissel, Nijmegen, and Maastricht. These are both World War I and II sites, so you'll have some time to spend there. The Rhine Getaway spends time in the northern part of Holland, Amsterdam, and Kinderdijk. The Grand European, one of my favorites, and certainly one of the favorites of most of our guests. This one does the 15-day tour through 4 countries, starting off in or ending in Amsterdam and visiting Kinderdijk and then going on through the heart of Europe. We also come in by ship, by ocean ship, and this one stops in Amsterdam on its way between Spain and Bergen. And we also have our Viking shores and fjords, which starts off in Amsterdam and carries on to the fjords of Norway. We also have a combination cruise that brings our guests from the Rhine, from Basel, all the way up through to Amsterdam, where they change ships and then go onward to the fjords of Norway. So lots of options for you. Please talk to your travel advisor and they'll be able to provide further details, availability and pricing, and also some insight into some of these great tours that I've shared with you and the ports of call. So Michael, I'm going to turn you back and see if we've got any questions. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our virtual tour through the tulips and windmills of Belgium and Holland. Take care.
Thanks, Kim. So the first question we had is, when you're looking to plan a new cruise with your travel advisor, is 2022 available? Are we selling into 2021? What does it look like for tulips and windmills in Holland and Belgium?
Oh, great. Great question. We actually have opened both 2021 and 2022. We are planning ahead, and I think right now, people are starting to dream about travel again. I know I certainly am. And I do recommend that you take advantage of some of the offers that we have right now. Check with your travel advisor. We do have a few special offers, and it'll give you an opportunity to plan ahead. We do have our risk-free cancellation insurance available as well. So that gives you some peace of mind. So please, now's the time to book and plan for the future.
Great. And then the next question is specifically about air. So do we have any specific air promotions going on right now into this destination?
Yeah, we actually do. We do have some free air promotions available on a number of our itineraries. And that means that we provide the air as a part of a promotion, and it includes the taxes and transfers. So you can save quite a significant amount of money. These are great ways to start your trip, because our Viking guides are there to meet you. And if you need to make some adjustments, maybe you want to go a little bit earlier to spend some time in Amsterdam or stay a little bit later, you can do that. We do have pre and post cruises or packages you can build around it. But I recommend traveling with Viking Air as part of your package is a really great way to do an all-inclusive type of experience and know that you'll be well looked after by everybody. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, so I think that's it for questions. Thank you so much for your presentation, Kim, and thank you everyone for joining us. Again, we greatly appreciate the support of our travel advisors and their clients for taking the time to be with us today. And if you have any additional questions or need further assistance, please feel free, and I highly recommend that you reach out to your favorite travel advisor. Thank you so much.